Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
How are you? Very sorry we are late, but I want to welcome you all to the ET Talks Engage, Transform, and Empower. So, my name is Lucy. I want to thank the ICMF for this opportunity to meet together as we engage, as we transform, and being empowered by this session. So I want to thank you all who are present here. So right now I want to welcome Coach Kudzanai with his presentation. Can we please give him a round of applause as he comes?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kudzanai Mtizra, and I am here to talk to you about something very interesting. I enjoy talking about relationships, and today I'm just going to be talking about how to nurture a relationship, how to come up with healthy relationships, or how to maintain healthy relationships. You know, I am amazed by the thought that for each and every one of us to be successful in this life, we need relationships. Some people call them networks, but basically the fundamental foundation of every network, of everything, is a relationship. And even if we go to the Bible, we see God saying there is power in relationships. So without relationships, we can never make it in this life, because obviously you'll be alone. You cannot succeed even in any project that you want to do without relationships. So relationships are a key or an integral part of our life, of our lives as individuals, or as a group, or as families. We need to have relationships and maintain them. So relationships, whether they are romantic relationships, or they are business relationships, or family relationships, they are not easy to maintain. That is one of the most things that we see every day. It's not easy to maintain a relationship, even in families, even at work. It's not easy. And you know, health relationships are very important. Why? Because they give you the results that you want. One, they give you peace, they give you happiness, and they can as well give you that energy, the positive energy that you need to be doing things around you. A motivation even to wake up every day, doing your thing. You need to be surrounded by people that you have healthy relationships with. So that's one reason we need to have or to nurture our relationships. But how then do we do this? I know I only have got 10 minutes to do this, so I'm going to be rushing through. But how then are we going to be doing this? Number one, we need to make time for the people that we are in relationships with. Be it at home, be it a boy-girl relationship, be it a couple, you are married, you need to make time for the people that you are in relationships with. You know, days are busy and stressful, and our economy is not even making it easy, right? We are always thinking, what's next? Where can I go? What can I do to put things together for yourself? And then by the end of the day, you are exhausted, and probably you can't even see how your day has gone by. So you might not make time for the people that you care about, or for the people who care about you. You might not make time for them. But you know what? It is important to make time for the people that you care about, for the relationships that you have. I am always a person who always advocate for making alliances and not friendships. Why? Because with alliances, you can make meaningful time for everyone that you have in your alliance network. So you need to make time. Positive attention can only be seen or can only be witnessed when you make time for someone, when you make time for your family. Have you ever seen that even your parents would say, you are so scarce these days. We hardly eat with you. We hardly see you around. And I've seen boy-girl relationships crashing, those beautiful relationships failing simply because one of the two is failing to make time for the other. And the other person is saying, I don't feel needed. I don't feel appreciated. You are hardly with me. And then there's this problem that you have made time to be with your person, right? Be it your wife, your boyfriend, your husband, or your parents, or your siblings at home. You have made the time, but you are still distracted. You are still concentrating on other thing. Maybe you're on your phone, TikToking or whatever. You're talking to other people, and your person is right next to you. People need to see you giving them attention when you've made time for them. Just the fact that you are there and you are listening to them. You're listening to your person when he or she is talking to you, and you're giving feedback that you are concentrating on what they're doing. That aspect can nurture your relationship. It can fix a lot of uncommunicated problems. Just the fact that you are listening, you are paying attention, and you are there. So you need to purposefully focus on each other in a positive manner for you to have a healthy relationship. And number two, you need to set and respect boundaries. There is nothing as important as knowing your boundaries in any type of relationship that you have. Be it a relationship, a church, there are relationships that we call church relationships, yeah? The relationship starts and ends at church. You need to know your boundaries with your pastors. You need to know your boundaries with your boss at work, your colleague at work. You need to respect those boundaries. Even with your personal person, you still have boundaries, and they need to be respected. In a healthy relationship, both people adhere to boundaries. We ought to adhere to those boundaries. Why? Because it's a signal to our brains to tell us what we ought to do and what we ought not to do. Overstepping of boundaries makes other people feel uncomfortable around you. For example, yes, you are trying to maintain your relationship, boy-girl relationship. Sorry, I'll keep referring back to that because we're young, yes, so maybe it will make sense to us. You're trying to maintain that relationship, but this girl is all over your phone, for example, is asking a lot of questions. So who is this one? This girl called you, what did she want? And things like that, things like that. She's overstepping a lot of boundaries. Even if the relationship was promising, it can die simply because you're overstepping boundaries. And have you seen, if someone visits your house and they do not know how to respect boundaries, you'll be surprised. You're in your bedroom and you're surprised the person it's their first time being at your house and they are already in your bedroom. They're already opening your wardrobe, checking out stuff. This is nice. Oh, I like it. They are overstepping boundaries. The next thing is you are no longer comfortable bringing this person into your space the next time. And probably that relationship was going to yield other good things in the future. But because of that, it will die. So we need to set and respect boundaries. Number three, we need to, this one is a big one, communication. We need to learn to communicate. So last week I was talking to someone and this lady, she was saying, I'm breaking up with my boyfriend. The reason is he does not understand me. And I'm asking, why are you saying he doesn't understand you? And she said, like, for example, I wake up in the morning, the guy had done something previous night, and then I wake up in the morning, I'm mad, and I don't want to talk to him. I'm giving him cold shoulder. And then the guy also gives it back. And I'm saying, no, he is not wrong. because you haven't communicated your problem. The thing is, you want him to second guess you. You want him, and then she said, he's supposed to figure out what is going on. And I'm saying, no, we ought to communicate. Communication is one of things that we overlook and we think it's very simple, but it's actually very difficult. Communication in relationships mostly is difficult. Why? Because we overlook it. We think it's something so easy, and we don't want to give other people time to also express themselves. We only want to be listened to, and we impose our will on other people that we are in relationships with, and it's not healthy. So we need to communicate. Communication is not easy, as but we need to be assertive. We also need to ask for what we want or for what we need, and we also need to listen very well to our partners, those that we are in relationships with. There is nothing as yielding or as good or as positive as being with someone who is a good listener and with someone who is a good communicator. Do you know that to some people it's quite important just to text and say, hi, I'm done with work, I'm going home. Hi, I'm home now. This person has not asked you to do that, but you're simply doing it because you want them to know your position, where you are. That is very, very important, because this person now, at the back of their mind, they didn't ask you to do this, but you are communicating, so they are seeing a transparent person in you. Do you see what is being brought about by the way you are communicating? Transparency is now something that is already added to what you are offering. So communication is good. And also our opinion, we need to communicate them in a respectful manner. This is one of the big problems in relationships. Someone has a good point. The point is good, but the way they are communicating it's disrespectful, or they are giving negative feedback. Of course, in a relationship, you ought to be prepared to receive negative feedback from your person, right? But the way it's communicated, it's also important, because some people are very brutal with that feedback. They can crush you. Instead of you hearing the problem, you are now getting hurt. So it's also good to communicate our opinion or our feedback in a respectful manner. Number 4, we need to learn to strengthen our connection with each other. I've mentioned about making time for each other, but did you know that you can make time for each other, but you might not be connected? You're still together, but you're not connected. There is no connection. Young people, we call it kadat. It's missing. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say here. It's still missing. The person is next to you. You're spending time with this person, but that connection is not there. You also need to understand your person's love languages. Understand what they like. Understand their love languages, so as to create the connection, so as to create the spark and to maintain it. And also, you need to try something new. Don't be doing the same thing over and over again, because probably when you're two people in a relationship, the other one is an extrovert, the other one is an introvert, and maybe the introvert is the guy. And because he's the guy, he calls the shots in the relationship, and you're always indoors. You're always indoors. You're always indoors. Indoors and indoors. And by the end of the day, the relationship starts getting boring. The connection is no longer there. So we ought to try something new. We need to take turns picking a new activity and have fun with it. Don't just be the only person who is giving out and giving out and giving out and suggesting and not listening to what your person wants. It's also important. And we need to treat others the way we want to be treated. That can enhance your connection very much. She is or he is your partner, but still that aspect of respecting what they want is important and critical. So we need to also have that aspect of respecting what they want, so as to maintain the connection. Number 5, it's the little things that matter. Buying gifts at random without waiting for Valentine's, without waiting for the birthday, for this person's birthday, without waiting for any of those events and occasions, just buying those little things for your person. You buy this, you give them, you take them out, you spoil them, you give them a random call, just a random call. Hi, there are relationships when someone calls you because they want something. In a relationship, they call you just to say, there's this that has come up, so I'm calling to let you know. But just calling your person and saying, I'm just calling to check up on you. How are you? How has been your day? How is it going? Is everything okay with you? Just that, and then you hang up. It might not be even 1 minute, but that is going to mean a lot to your person, because it shows your person, or the person you're in a relationship with, that you are thinking about them and you care about them. It's the little things that matter. And this point is very important. Learn to turn a blind eye daily. Not every fault demands your response. This is very important. In every relationship, not every fault demands your response. Why? Because if you keep on complaining about the faults and mistakes that your partner is making, you are going to start forgetting why you are in that relationship, because you fail to see the positives, the good side of that person. And it's important then to learn to turn a blind eye on those little things. I think my time is up now, but this is something that I think can help us to nurture and create healthy relationships. Thank you very much.
Powerful presentation. Another round of applause. Tabata nditi. Coach Kudzanai, Asimuri, a marriage coach. Are you a marriage coach? Wonderful. That was so big. I think you've learned a lot, right? And as you go home, relationships, they are meant right now. It has been saved. The relationships have been saved. Thank you so much. Right now, I want to welcome Coach Lincoln. Can we please give him a round of applause as he comes here?
I'll just try to run. So my presentation is titled Consistency Outweighs Resistance. And everybody's wondering, what does this guy mean? I've been studying the success of many people in life. I've been studying the success of many business, of many institutions. And I've noticed that it is not because they have resources or they are lucky that made them be successful, but it was their ability to face every challenge and never give up in those challenges. So that's why we are saying consistency will always outweighs resistance. So we are dealing with two words here. We've got consistency and resistance, right? So in these two words, these are forces. These are forces. I call them forces. This one, it is a force that is uplifting you. This one is a force that is pulling you down. So how then can this force overcome this force? first thing that we have to do is we start by setting small goals. Goal setting. Goal setting. You know, unogona ngoda kutenga $1 million car, but you don't just wake up one $1 million car. So you need to structure your goal so that it will become achievable. So we use what we call the SMART technique. The SMART technique when we want to set these goals. This one is for specific. Be specific about your goal. This one is for measurable. How measurable is that goal? This one is attainable. How attainable is your goal? This one, realistic. How real is your goal? Then this one is time frame. The time you want to achieve it. You know, it's impossible to say, tomorrow I just want to wake up and go and buy $1 million car. You need to exert a lot of work. That's where time frame enters now. So coming to this one, we have set our goal. We want to buy $1 million car, and our goal is smart enough. Maybe in the next 10 years, that's when we are going to attain that goal. That's when we are going to achieve that goal. But along that 10-year journey, where we are saying we are going to reach that level where we will be able to purchase our $1 million car, we face some resistance along the way. Maybe in the early years, maybe 3 years, the first 3 years, you are unemployed. Already you have lost time. So we are saying, what are we going to do with the remaining 7 years? We don't give up because we are late. We don't give up because we are late. So we have lost 3 years because we have been unemployed. That was number one, resistant. And number two, you know, like the issue of relationship that was mentioned earlier here. Maybe our network is not supportive enough. That's another resistant. Maybe they are giving you negative energy always. So, we now need to structure how we are going to deal with these forces, these negative forces. So, that was number one. We need to set SMART goals. And then, the other thing is we have to be motivated by small achievements along the way. You know, getting $1,000 in the next 5 years, it's a progress. It's a work done. So if we've got $1,000, at least we are saying we've achieved something in relation to our goal. We are going there. We are getting there. So now on consistency, you know, the Bible mentioned it clearly in Luke chapter number 18, verse 2. There was a widow. I hear each and every day to the king. That widow troubled the king. To an extent, the king had to give in to the troubles, you know. So that's the consistency we want whenever we want to achieve our goals. We need to show up each and every day, no matter how hard, how difficult it is. We have to show up. You don't just wake up and we are saying now Coach Lincoln is now a millionaire. No. We face a lot of challenges, unemployment, you know, all those things. But each and every day we have to show up. It is the small things that matters. It is the small things that matters. So those small efforts, you go out there, you hustle. You find out no matter how much kanzuri kuya kuzomanyisa vanhu, but as long as you are consistent, pawabva kudzingwa ukadzokera, you end up one a well-structured business, a legal business, all because you have been consistent. You understand? So there are so many forces that pulls us down when it comes to resistance. Number one, sometimes you might feel sleepy. You have got an exam tomorrow and you need to start, you need to prepare, but you just started feeling sleepy. Just saying, no, I'm just tired, I will do it tomorrow morning. That's a resistant force. The other thing is our desire to enjoy now. You know, Tambutara issue, we want to buy $1 million car. Today I got $500. You know, I want to look good out there, I want to look nice. And I went out and I do my shopping, the tenga my sneakers, the tenga everything. I look nice, but I'm forgetting I have got a goal, I need $1 million car. That's the desire to enjoy now. So that desire will kill the end result. That's a resistance. So when embracing resistance, we need to be making small and incremental changes over time. Now I'm at stage 1. Tomorrow I'm at stage 2. You know, when you face a road hump, it doesn't mean that's the end of the road. A road hump is simply telling you now you need to slow down. But later you enjoy the smooth road just after the hump. So automatically, when we face a road hump, then we felt like, no, it's time to give up. Then we've shattered the goal, the dream. We have lost it automatically. So I've got a few rules, I think maybe 4 or 3, that we can use for us to be consistent. Number 1, we've mentioned it earlier, is to set smart goals. When your goals are smart, they will motivate you. And number 2, we need to be focusing on progress, not perfection. Perfection will come later, after we've been focusing on the process, on the progress that we are making. And, you know, there are a lot of techniques that we might use along the way when we want to achieve something, or when we want to be consistent enough. The most technique that has been useful to me is the Pomodoro technique. I'm sure some of you are aware of it. The Pomodoro technique says that, in fact, it is a time management tool that breaks our work down into 25 minutes interval. The Pomodoro technique breaks work down into 25-minute intervals, or they can be called Pomodoros. A Pomodoro, it's a tomato-like watch, you know, in a kitchen. So it's a French word, I'm sure. So the goal of the technique is to focus intensely on one task for 25 minutes and take a break. So it encourages setting a timer for each task. Then after, we take a longer break after every 4 tasks that we have accomplished. So it works like this. Number 1, so the Pomodoro is like this. I'm sure you know this kind of watch. In Irim kitchen, usually movies. But so the technique works like this. Now, the first stage is you decide on the task. That's the first stage. You decide on the task that you want to do. That's the first thing. So after deciding, you set your timer. You set your timer. So you are setting yourself to know, for the next 30 minutes, I'll be studying about stock exchange. That's the decision that you have made. And the next stage is you set the time. No, for the next 30 minutes. So you set the 30 minutes and you start studying. Then work on the task until the timer rings. So you start working on the task until the timer rings. Then after that, automatically you are going to take a break. This is the fourth thing. This will be the fourth thing. You take a break. Maybe you go take a shower, you go for a walk, anything. Then after you have completed these 4, that's when you take the longer break, maybe from 15 to 30 minutes, that's when you rest. No, I have accomplished this task for today, so I'm going to rest. Then you come back again, you repeat, you repeat, you repeat. That's how consistency will outweigh resistance. Because the more you are showing up on a place, the more resistant you become. For example, if I start knocking this glass like this, exerting force on it, it might not break now, but maybe after some few hours or 5 to 10 hours, knocking it, it will eventually start cracking. That's consistent. I've been consistent in hitting it. Now I've managed to overcome the resistance, you see. So what are the advantages of using this Pomodoro technique? The advantages of using the Pomodoro technique. So it's easier to get started when you are using this technique, because already you've got time set for the event, time set for the activity. So you, in your mind, you know, by this time, I should be doing this and this and this. So it's easy to get started. And it allows you to have proper planning of your events. You know, I've come across a lot of people who do things randomly. And at the end of the day, they are full of confusion. You are reading about the stock exchange. After reading about the stock exchange, you don't give yourself time to digest the information or to execute what you have been reading about. You have jumped again. You are now reading about angels. You are now reading about something else that is totally different from this first goal. So it allows better planning and smart planning. The other one is it unlocks creative ideas. The Pomodoro technique unlocks creative ideas. How does it create creative ideas? You know, when you give yourself time to focus on a thing, that's when you begin to get some revelations about it. That's when you begin to notice other smart ways of doing it better. You know, I personally am a graphic designer. When I focus on a computer for too long, I start seeing some tools that are more creative than the previous tools that I've been using. And those tools will even make my designs better than the previous designs. So that's where the creative part is. And it reduces stress. You don't have to be stressed. What am I going to do? You know, those kind of stuff. So when you have an assignment. Where am I going to start? I've got an exam tomorrow. And you are stressed. But when you adopt this technique now, you have got all your things planned. And you have got time frames on how you are going to do it and how much you are going to do it. So you don't have to be stressed. What you only need to do is to set your timer, get things done. And you overcome procrastination. That's the other issue. And you will not have the ability to give up, obviously. You won't give up when you are using these kind of things. You won't give up. So, in conclusion now, being consistent carries or comes with a lot of benefits, be it in life, be it in business, or be it in career. You know, consistency helps us build momentum. It helps us build momentum. It develops good habits and it enables us to achieve our goals. It also leads to more efficient use of our time and energy. So when you are consistent, especially when you are adopting these kind of techniques, you use your time more efficiently and it helps you to become productive at the same time and successful in whatever you do. Taking, for example, I've got Dr. Strive Masiwa. When we want to highlight on the issue of being successful after being consistent, we've got Dr. Strive Masiwa. You know, I've heard so much about him. He had to face so many challenges for him to attain the license to operate. And he never gave up. Each and every day you would wake up, you would plan, you do whatever it takes for him to attain that license. Here he is now. He is a global brand. He is now international. He didn't just wake up, or it wasn't because even my relatives are very smart or my connections are that good, but it was his ability to be consistent. Imagine being denied by the government. If it's me, I will give up there and there. No, they've denied me, so there's no way I can operate in Zimbabwe. Or maybe I will start changing environment. And for me to adapt in that environment again, I will face the same resistance. Because let's say, for example, I gave up in operating as a business in Zimbabwe. I said, no, let me go in South Africa, Uganda. I still need a citizenship. Some countries, they will need you to have a citizenship for you to start operating or for you to have a business in that country. So imagine the stress now of starting to apply for a citizenship. You are wasting time. Because maybe they will need a citizen, for you to apply for a citizenship, you need to stay there in that country for 20 years, and you have lost 20 years. Rather, you should have stayed in your country, and maybe after 5 years, you would have achieved something. So, with this, I believe we've touched all the insights that will enable us to be consistent enough in each and everyday life and in our careers. So I rest my case.
Wow. Thank you so much, Coach Lincoln. Can you please give him a round of applause again? What a powerful presentation. I think we have learned a lot. You have to be consistent, right? Consistency. You have to set the goals that are smart. As coaches, we know that we are leaders. And I don't think which Parliament has now set my goals. If you are there, can you please go and do it right away? It's not late. So, do we have any questions? Coach Josiah.
Thank you for the presentation, Coach. So my question is on one of the resistances to consistency, which is sleeping or sleep rather. Yeah, I wanted to know what are some of the strategies we can actually use to overcome that kind of a resistance when you feel sleepy, when you feel just and the times you might force yourself. Like I give an instance when I was on campus. I say, okay, I'm reading whatever happens, I'm reading.
Yeah.
And I find out myself after 2 hours, I'm waking up.
All right. So if you want to overcome, let's say, for example, we are students and we have an exam tomorrow and we want to overcome sleepy. The first thing is take enough rest. You need to take enough rest, especially during the day. You need to take enough rest. After taking enough rest, you have a clear goal of what you want to study about. Automatically, we've got an exam and the goal is to pass. So, if the goal for you is to pass now, it should be smart enough to motivate you to wake up during evening hours. It should be smart enough to wake you up. You know, there are goals that when you set them, I've done that a lot of times. I know I need to read something. I take my shower. I had a long day. Alarm yotorira. But blanket. And the other thing, especially when you're using alarms, don't put your phone or your watch under your pillow because it's easy to turn it off. It's very easy, 100% easy. So maybe you put it a few meters away from you so that when it rings, you jump out of bed. For the first time it will ring, you ignore it. For the second time it will ring. For the third time you say, no, it's making a lot of noise. Let me switch it off. So the moment you are jumping out of your bed, noise, automatically you have stretched your body and you have reminded yourself, no, I've got an exam. I need to start. And the other thing, I usually use a vision board. When I want to study about something, I print it in bold and I put it kwandinoona nchimuka nchisunza msoro kwandinoona zvekuti panorira alarm yangu ndichisunza musoro kutarisa kwairi ndikuona pakanzi you need to study about this and this and this and this. So automatically chinhu chato registered musoro ndechekuti I need to study. Then ndakutomuka kubva pambedha ndakutoenda pastudy desk. So that's the other thing, how you can overcome other resistance forces. I'm sure I've answered your question.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Anyone with the question again? I think another thing is to be disciplined.
Yeah, automatically you need to be disciplined. Your goal must be good enough and smart enough to discipline you. Like for me, I have goals that discipline me a lot. You know, my goals angu kazhinji, they tell me where to be at what time. As being disciplined by a goal. No, nguva dzakati ufana ngori kwakati. Nguva dzakati ufana ngori kwakati. Magoals andoseta anondiudza vanhu vekutamba nawo. No, don't associate with this kind of, not to say hatisi kuda kuassociate nawo kokuti takutovaburitsa museko, no, but we give them a little time and focus on what matters. You know, when I'm here, I can even take 24 hours in this room, but when I'm out there, 15 minutes is too long. I don't associate with people for more than an hour out there. If I associate with you for an hour, that one is a relationship you will benefit both parties, and we are building each other. So magoza akwanifana kukudzawo ekwasociate now, especially when you are in the university. When you're in the university, pane pamwe pekuti you are squatting with people. Maybe you are the one and a raise, and other people are coming in to stay with you. Havana raise and mune exam tomorrow morning early, so they vadongo raro muroom mako. Some of the people, they are toxic. So you should set now my goals are realistic. Anokudza no ningi na ningi or my characters are cut. We don't need them here. Because automatically bad company will corrupt good morals. Iyo is a secret. Unogona kuzviti aiwa no ndakapenga I can resist. But spend a week with those guys, your language will start changing. Your language will start changing. So that's the other thing. Being disciplined will help you overcome resistance along the journey. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Coach Lincoln. Anyway, the profile of Coach Lincoln. He is a pastor. He is a life coach, a professional mentor, a public speaking coach, a transformational speaker, a digital skills coach, and an award-winning coach. Thank you so much, Coach. You have learned a lot. I hope anyone with a question or something to add. We are all satisfied. Wonderful. So this marks the end of our session today. Can you please come in front so that we can take pictures?